Hey fish fans, today on this video we're talking about seasonal patterns and how I determine and go about deciding what to fish with at any given time. Now in this video we were using deep diving crankbaits, slow rolling them down deep and bumping the structure and just basically dredging the bottom in about 8 to 9, 10 foot of water with a deep diving crankbaits. You had to move them slow because the water was extremely cold and the bass were very sluggish. But how do we determine which particular seasonal pattern we're going to go into, or what kind of lures I'm going to be carrying with me, say in a tournament, is determined by the water temperature. Fish determine their seasonal patterns in December, January, February is when it starts getting cold here in the west where I'm at. That's when I put my topwater lures away. I go to my deep diving crankbaits. Now certain baits work year round, like spinner baits, soft plastics, jigs, baits like that are going to be in all your seasonal pattern boxes. Now seasonal pattern box is another good example of what I was talking about. When I'm fishing a tournament, I'll have my main tackle that I bring, then I'll have several boxes prepared like this one, little plastic boxes like this. I'll have these seasonal pattern specific. So let's just say from November, December to January, it's going to have deep diving crankbaits, it's going to have jigs in it, it's going to have small finesse worms for like drop shotting, and it's going to have spinner baits. I'm not going to have topwaters in this box because I'm not going to be throwing them during those months. Okay? Now, that brings us up to March. March, April, May is when the topwater's starting to bite, but yet I'll have a few topwaters with me, but I'll have a lot more crankbaits, spinner baits, and my worms. Be fishing them. Of course, you have your jigs also. Them. Now, that brings us up to April, May, June, and July, August. That's full-fledged topwater. I'm going to have a whole assortment of topwaters in my box. Now, when you pack in your box, not only is your seasonal pattern going into consideration, but the lake you're fishing is also going to be into consideration on what you're putting in your boat. Like here in Arizona, we've got Canyon Lake, Saguaro Lake. Those lakes, I'm going to have some big swim baits in my box during the months of November, December, January, because they stock the trout, and a lot of times these big bass are keying in on those stocked trout, and there's a good chance you'll get a wall hanger for a kicker in your tournament. So we're going to have swim baits too in my seasonal pattern box. So the seasonal pattern box is built towards the seasonal pattern, which is what they're going to be biting at a given time, and lake specific also. Certain baits work better in other lakes than others. So those are the two things you're going to take into consideration when I'm checking out my seasonal pattern and getting geared up and ready for a tournament. Now, sometimes I'll have them in a box like this. Other times I'll pack a box like this one here. Once again, it's a bigger box. It's still little see-through plastic, and it's tournament ready, and it's seasonal pattern selected. So a little tip on that, fish fans. What do you use? Here's some excellent examples of the lures that I was mentioning. First one is the swim bait. There's one for the big bass, keying in on those big baits in my lake specific box. This is a swim bait. Then I got another one here, and the good old Mr. Twister giant saltwater sassy shad. These are all perfect examples of the swim baits that I had mentioned. Here's the Mr. Twister sassy shad. These are imitating those stock trout for those big bass. This is an Optimum minnow here, Optimum swim bait. It's in the rainbow trout pattern also. And here's the good old Castaic trout. Supposed to imitate those stock lures, stock trout. Those big bass are keying in on those trout. And of course it looks like a lip-landed one. Whoa, I got a little stocky. Okay, now the other thing I mentioned a lot in this video was my deep diving crankbaits, which is what we were using catching the bass that you're going to see later on in this video. And to go into better detail on your crankbaits, the way to tell if it's a deep diving crankbait as opposed to a medium to a shallow running crankbait is by the length of the lip on the front of the lure. As you can see, this is a deep diving jerk bait here, and what we got is a big long bill on the front and wide, and that gives it the depth that you're going to want. Now see, this is an excellent one. This is a live target crawdad. And look how big the bill is on the front of this. Great big old thing. It's like a giant wedge. It just digs down deep in that water. This lure gets down deep and you can move it slower and it goes deeper. It's an excellent wintertime bait. Also, now later on in future videos we'll go into details on deeper fish in the summertime. Because when it gets really hot, they're going to go down deep again to avoid the heat of the day. So the deep diving crankbait is going to come into action again. So it's got two seasonal patterns that you're going to be using these deep diving lures in. But it's another excellent choice. Once again, when you're picking out your deep diving crankbaits, the bigger the bill in the front of the lure, the deeper that lure is going to go. So that when you go shopping for your tackle, you look for that big bill in the front of it, this little shad imitation here. Deep bill. Once again, a good deep diving crankbait. The bigger the bill, the deeper it's going to go. The wider the bill, usually the wider the wiggle of the bait. So that's something to look into when you're going to buy your lures, fish fans. Check into that. You're going to look at the bill of the lure, and that's going to determine how deep that lure is going to go. Now, it'll also tell you right on the packaging. You look at the package, it'll say dives to 10 to 20 feet or 8 to 10 feet. Now, once again, that varies with your line diameter, right? So usually when they give you those manufacturer dive specifications, all that varies with the size of the line you use. Usually the lighter the line, the deeper that lure is going to go. So if you're using 14-pound test and the lure says up to 10 feet, you're not going to get a full 10 feet out of that lure with 14-pound test, because most of the time they measure those depths with 6-pound test. You have to look or check into what size diameter line that specification set up for. I fish 12 to 14 most of the time in the West, and I know that these lures are going to go X amount of feet deep, give or take a little bit, according to my line diameter. So, also, the type of line you use makes a bit of a difference. Fluorocarbon gets a little bit deeper than monofilament because fluorocarbon sinks. It's a heavier line. It's going to take the lure down a little quicker, a little faster, and it's a heavier line. Fluorocarbon doesn't work very well with topwater lures because it sinks. It pulls the lure down. And that's something we'll get into in later videos. Is in your picking out a line, when to use what. Like fluorocarbon I really love for really clear lakes like Lake Pleasant and Havasu, places like that where the water's really, really clear. Fluorocarbon is an excellent choice, but it's still not an excellent choice for topwater because it sinks. It's a sinking line. So anyhow, fish fans, we're going to get to that exciting fishing action, and I hope this little bit of information that I've given you, you remember it. Next time you're shopping at the bait store, remember live target lures, and the bigger the bill in the front of the lure, the deeper it goes. The wider the bill, usually the wider the wiggle. So that's something to take into consideration. Good luck out there, fish fans. We'll see you all soon. Take care.
Okay.
Hey fish fans, I got one on. We got another one on crankbait. I got him double hooked. Here he comes up. He's a sugar booger. I got his gill plate propped open. Let's get him on up here and get him out of that mess. Oh, he's a sugar booger.
Well, I'll say.
That's a sugar booger and a half. There you go, little buddy.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
I got one on there.
You do. We got a double.
Oh, it's just a snag because I let it sink.
Oh, okay. Thought we had a double going. We'll go get you out of that snag here in a second. We're fishing a lot of structure, a lot of trees, down deep. Once again, see, he's got no black lines in him or anything like that. It's a sign of deep fish. So, deep, cold water, and he went straight down. Did you notice that? We're hitting them pretty good. We found an area where there's a lot of fish in it. He's double hooked.
A little bit better.
Yep, they're getting bigger.
Ooh, that could have come out easy.
Yeah, I know, they're just barely.
No, I got him right underneath his eye.
Oh, well, it came out pretty easy though.
Yeah, that's a better fish.
Yeah, it is. Boy, they are cold. Yes, they are. Just because of the cold. I believe so.
Okay.
Hey, yep. Fish fans, I got another one. I just tail hooked him again. And we're fishing structured. And this is my nicer one today. I think. Yeah. Oh, I just barely got him.
Yep.
Look at that. I gotta show that to the guys. Look at that, fish fans. I mean, I just barely had him hooked by the little chin there. There, look at that. There he is, though. That's my nice one today. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Fishy Blue. You can see he's down deep again. And very little black in them. They're all silver. Silver and gray. Not really green, they're more gray. There he goes back in again. And he's gone. Back to the depths. I got him by working it almost like a jig. I got this lure down to the structure. I bumped the structure and then I stopped it. And I started doing a stop and go technique. You do that by just lifting your rod tip up a little bit. Make the lure kind of wiggle and stop, wiggle and stop, wiggle and stop. And he was hooked on the tail hook, which means they're just nipping at him. And anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get back to fishing so Ray can get back to fishing. And we'll turn the camera on when we get more of that exciting action. See you guys in a bit. Okay. All right.
We're looking in the sun though.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll spin the boat a little bit. And we got somebody doing their lawn maintenance. Well, I got him to look good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got another one, fish fans. Once again, we're deep diving crankbaits. Oh, this one here, I got to get off the hook pretty good. He's a sugar booger. He ain't real big. And I'm going to get the pliers to get it out so I don't hurt him. See how he's hooked down there on the back of the tongue and on that gill. And all we're going to do is just grab this hook and then back it right out the way it went in. Just like that. And you can see he didn't bleed. So you don't want to jerk it out. You want to bring it out the way it went in. There we go. See if I can get it to where you can see in his mouth a little better. There we go. Now you can see in there. All right, we're going to put him back. Here he goes back. And he's free. Got him on the crankbait again. Hey, fish fans, I got a nice one on here.
Skinny dipper?
No, I got him on the crankbait. I got him on a rear hook just like we've been getting on the surface over there. This is a plump one. This one here has got a little weight to it.
Yeah, he's been eating today,
yes,
unlike the other ones.
Oh, he is thick. Look how thick he is. That is one plump. Look at the mouth, man. Nice and clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's never been hooked before. Today's his first day on the boat with us. Good fishy. All right. Once again, we got him by getting those crankbaits down deep, right in their face, bumping the structure with them, and slow rolling them across the bottom. And there he goes back in again. And straight to the bottom. Boy, they don't mess around. I got waters like ice. Like I said earlier, this water is as cold as the iced tea we drink in the summertime. It's cold. All right.
Okay.
Hey, fish fans, I got a nice one on. This is my big one today, I think. I got him double hooked. Yeah, that's a nice fish. Oh yeah, baby. Now they're getting bigger. Yeah, ouch. Yeah, right out of there once again. He got him on the rear hook first. There he is, though. That one there's really got some nice shoulders to him. He was down deep too. Been eating though. Look how thick they are. See how fat and thick they are. Okay, we're going to put him on back. There he goes. Grow up, be a bigger fish. There he goes back down. And I got him, like I said, once again, just slow cranking it. Working that lure with my rod tip. Kind of like this fish fans. We put the bait out there, then we wind it up like this over here. And you work it with your reel, nice and slow like this. And then I add these rod tips, just like this here. You just work it with your rod tip a little bit. And you're just slowly working that crankbait along because it is cold down there. You on?
Yep.
Hey, fish fans, I got another one. I just slow rolling them deep diving crankbaits in this ice cold water. This one just nipped it, and I got him by the rear hook.
Oh,
I got him pretty good.
Yeah, he ain't coming off.
Yeah, I got him looking pretty good. There he is. He's a skinny one. He was definitely skinny. 1-8. Okay, we gotta bring him over here, and I'll pop this hook out real quick. And I'll show you that bait again, and we'll give you an idea of what we're doing with it. There he is. He's a little sugar booger. And they're down deep again. You see they don't have a lot of black markings on him. That's a sign of cold, deep fish. And we'll see what he does here. And there he goes, back to where he came from.
Slow though.
Yep, they're freezing. It's cold, man. Cold. Here's that bait. All right, fish fans, Ray's got one on too. And now they're starting to... And like I said, once again, we're working them down deep. We're working those crankbaits in this cold water, slow rolling crankbaits through the structure, pulling these fish up off the bottom. And there's absolutely hardly any color to them whatsoever. They're coming out just almost silver. Pliers coming up. They're coming out of this water almost silver, fish fans. There he is. That's a nice one. Nothing big today, fish fans.
All rosy lips.
Well, yeah.
Got lipstick on.
Yes, he does. And there he goes. Awesome.